Hey everyone, welcome to Watch Complications. I'm Brian. Thanks for clicking on whatever link led you to this video. In the description below, you'll find other links to my website, Instagram, the Watchy app, and links to the products that I'm going to discuss in today's video. We are just around the corner of Thanksgiving 2021, and I want to do something sort of short and simple for the Thanksgiving holiday. I really appreciate all of my subscribers and viewers, and so I'm going to do a giveaway. Link to the form for the giveaway is in the description below as well, and I'm going to talk about the product I am giving away. You know, this time of year my work is pretty hectic, so I publish videos a little bit more sporadically, but don't worry, there are a lot of videos coming, lots of content on the docket. Of course, the normal sort of stuff like watch reviews, I'm going to give you a first look at some of those watches today that there will be reviews on in the near future. And then there's sort of the normal stuff I do on my channel, some watchmaking vids, watch dials. I'm gonna get into some more tool reviews and how complications work. I hope to get to the repeater one pretty soon. And I think I'm gonna do something related to books, not necessarily horology only books, but ones that wrap in concepts of time and engineering and history. I've got some really interesting ideas, maybe gift ideas for Christmas, which is also just around the corner. But I think a video you'll see very soon from me is one that I had a request for, and that's to give a behind the scenes look, what all goes into making one of these videos, what tools, hardware, camera, lights, software, what does it take to bring this content to you? I think that's going to be a fun one to do in sort of the holiday stage of the year, and so I think I'm going to work on that one next. That's coming soon. Speaking of holidays, watches and my career in computer science, that's not all I do. I like fun stuff too. You know, my mind beyond computing and engineering. Well, okay, this is the same sort of thing. This is my holiday project. That's right, the Home Alone Lego kit. This thing is insane. 4,000 pieces. Oh, this is gonna be fun. Be jealous, it's okay. The goal of this video is threefold, I think. We'll count it up. One, not long ago, I provided a review of my favorite watchmaking bench mat, the Bergeon 7808. You can probably see the green here in the background. I've got a couple of them lying about. I've tried other mats, and I wanted to try one of these fancy silicone mats. They're a little bit bigger. You can see the gray here. It's got trays molded into it. I thought, why not get two? I'll keep one for myself to test and use long term, and the other one, it's Thanksgiving week, why not, as a thank you to my subscribers and viewers, give one away. So the link to the form is in the description below. Answer the questions, you'll be entered in the draw, and then I will notify the winner next week around Thanksgiving, a week from the publication date of this video. Then, since we're talking a little bit about tools, I wanted to give people some insight into another one of my favorite tools. What's my favorite set of calipers? I use these every day. Measuring stuff every day. A few tools I keep on my desk at all times. My headset, which I've already provided a review on, calipers, screwdrivers. So what is my favorite caliper set? Well, continue watching, you'll find out. That's number two. Number three is, since I'm showing the mat, I'm gonna have the camera over it, why not put some watches on it that are upcoming reviews and give you a sneak peek, first look at some of those wonderful watches. Got some really unique stuff, I think, to show. So let's look at the HP Fix Silicone Mat. There are a lot of different brands out there for these, but I'll link to the specific one I got. The key, don't get the magnetic ones. We're working with watches. There are the non-magnetic and the magnetic ones. Please don't get the magnetic ones. I have the specific link below to the non-magnetic one. And they're not that expensive. They're only like 17 bucks. But this is what it comes wrapped up in. Nice, you know, aluminum looking style bag, and also wrapped in plastic. Protected well, silicone, it's not going to bend. Let's start looking at all this stuff. Mat, calipers, and watches. And if you want one for your own tinkering, don't forget to enter the giveaway. Okay, so I'm zoomed out a little bit more than I normally would be because we're looking at a mat, which is pretty big, but I also want to give you sort of an up-close look at this mat. I've got the watches on there. By the way, don't have anything on my wrist at the moment. The watch I was wearing in the intro was this watch. I'll discuss in just a second. Here's the mat we're looking at. And you can see it's got these trays molded into it. It's a lot different than just the flat surface of the Bergeon that we've got over here to the right. Now, I'm not going to pan to the Bergeon at all through this general idea of what it looks like, the thickness of it, what that padding underneath looks like. I've reviewed this one before, but I am going to put up comparative specs for it. So panning back to the silicone pad, there are several different colors of these. In the link that I shared, there's a blue magnetic, a gray magnetic, and a gray non-magnetic. Of course, again, like I said in the intro, we're dealing with watches. You don't want the magnetic version of these. Don't want magnets around anything related to watch movements, period. So, what are the dimensions? What's the advantage of this maybe over the traditional Bergeon mat? Well, one is the size. The Bergeon mats are fairly small. They're about 240 millimeter by 340 millimeter. That's about 9.5 by 12.5 inches and about 1.8 millimeters thickness. And they say in the specs too, but it's about 1.8. This gray mat is bigger, more surface area. That's a good thing. In inches, it's about 11 3/4 by 5 3/4. Package says that this is 305 by 405. It's really about 300 by 400, and it's a lot thicker. This is 3.3 millimeters thick, so it gives you a little bit more height, a little bit more padding, and it's got bigger width and length, so it gives you more surface space to work on. That's a pro. What about the silicone versus the non-slip texture-based plastic-like surface of the Bergeon? Now, someone like me, I'd be like, let's have best of both worlds. Let's get one of each. But what are some of the property comparisons between the two mats? Silicone, we think of it as like a non-slip, non-stick surface. It is, a little bit of a rubbery feel. So when you put it on a wood desk or something like that, it can move, but it doesn't easily slip around, and that's a good thing. On the Bergeon mat, we've got this non-slip textured base, which doesn't move at all. So you can't push this around. You have to lift it up and to move it. This will give you a little bit of movement without having to lift up the whole thing. Easy to pick up and put down. And the thickness helps with that. When it comes to the top of the mats is where we see more significant difference. Silicone, again, it's got that rubbery feel. It can be a little bit harder to clean and remove debris off of it. So if you get like dust or specks or things and you wipe them off, they'll wipe off a little bit, but it can be harder to like scrape at them and move them off of the silicone surface. They tend to stick, and getting dust and debris around watch parts is not the best thing, obviously. So it might be for certain types of watch work, might be a little bit better. Now with the Bergeon mat, this has a harder plastic-like surface. It has a little bit of give to it, but this is so easy to wipe and clean off. So that's where this traditional watch mat's going to give you a little bit better in terms of keeping dust and debris away, easy to clean. This has trays in it though. This built-in organization will be nice. I have stuff on my watch mat all the time, and yeah, I use other types of trays and things to hold watch parts, but having these right in the mat where I can just put these in the slots is great. Not only that, but look, these are numbered. So it goes from 1 all the way up to, in the bottom row, up here to 28, and then it picks back up over here at 29 in the top row, up to 56. So if you're keeping parts organized, writing down, like I got a whiteboard right over here to my left on the wall, it's like, okay, what screws are these that I put into one? I can write a 1 up on the board and say what part of the movement they go into or what part of the watch. And so having these numbered slots for different types of screws or springs and components, that's pretty handy. And then the bigger trays for bigger parts or tools, movement holders, whatever it is you want to put into these trays. That's just really one of these cool things about it, so they don't go flying off. There's been lots of times working on a mat like this, there's nothing around the edges to keep things from rolling off, moving around, and it's a small surface to work on. A lot more surface here and things that won't roll away or accidentally get brushed aside as I move my hand around if not being careful. Having the trays is a big pro. By the way, there are a total of 68 unique trays in this silicone mat, but again, Bergeon a lot easier to clean. This mat, $18, Bergeon mat, $40. Again, big price difference there. The other big pro of the silicone is I've gotten a few things a little bit too hot on the Bergeon mat, and that melts pretty quickly. This is not temperature resistant or against about any kind of warmth. Let me double check and make sure I got this right. This is heat resistant up to 500 Celsius. That's about 932 degrees Fahrenheit. So if you have soldering work to do, maybe you're attaching dial feeder or something, you're working with different types of epoxy or anything else where you're going to have heat this is a good surface for that sort of work. Maybe sanding, anything where there's a lot of friction, heat, this could be a good option for you. So I'm looking forward to seeing how this performs long term. It's fairly new. I haven't given it a full run yet, but I'm looking forward to seeing how this lasts. Maybe I'll revisit it in short at some point in the future. Again, if you want to give one a try as well, then fill out the form. Maybe you'll get lucky and get the free one. Okay, and then we have my favorite set of calipers. You can see it says here 0 to 150 millimeter digital caliper. Having a good set of calipers, don't go the plastic route. Get something that is going to last a long time, and they don't have to break the bank either. So this specific specimen is $27. That price will be up and down a little bit. I think the retail is like $30, but you know, you can get deals and save, and there's a few different brands. But the brand that I'm going to link to in the description below, I think they maybe changed ownership or something. So the name brand you might see on this one's a little bit different from what you might see on the Amazon, but it's M-O-O-C-K, Mook, I don't know. But it was named something different when I bought it. But same idea, and you know, who knows beyond that. Here's what they look like. So when I bought it, it was Icar, I don't know. But this is probably the most used tool on my desk besides my screwdriver set or my headset. So it's got this sort of automatic turn on and off. So like if you just start moving it, you know, it's going to automatically turn on. Of course, when you put it in the box, you want to turn it off. I typically leave it a little bit open. I don't screw this down all the way to hold it in place. That will hold it in place so you can't move it back and forth. It will stay where it is. I usually leave those a little bit loose, put it in the box, hit the off. The great thing I like about this caliper set is it's all metal. And so it's going to last. Take care of it. Don't muck with it too much in terms of getting it around moisture. This is battery powered. It takes the CR2032 3-volt lithium battery. It comes with an extra, but I would recommend getting an extra pack. Sometimes you can actually leave it on. You'll come back at a day or so later. It might be off, not powered back on. Easy to replace the battery. You just take this screw out on the back. The top here pops off. Replace the battery. Screw it back on. And that's all there is to it. Whether or not you have a screwdriver set laying around to unscrew the battery compartment here on the back, they include a little screwdriver to help you out with that. Of course, it's got where you can use the depth, which I use sometimes. Of course, you've got the measurement capabilities here on the bottom and the top, whether you're doing an interior or an exterior. Now, unlike a lot of other YouTubers in the watch world out there, I don't just recite the specs that are on a website when it comes to diameter, lug to lug, width or height, all those wonderful things. This is what I use. I measure them myself and give you the specs as closely as possible. It has millimeters, which is typically what things are going to be measured in the watch universe, but you can also do inches. It's got fractions. It's got all the features you would want. I have not had any problems with this. There's no rusting or anything like that. It's good quality. Here on the back, we've got the reminder about what battery it is. It's one of those things as details. It's like the smallest of details, but you sometimes need that reminder. It's nice to have it right on the calipers. And then you've got some tables here with some measurements, ISO and whatnot. It has a sufficient range for watch work and inches and millimeters. I just have, no complaints about this IP54 digital caliper. Again, links in the description. It also came with this nice little chart, conversion chart from fractions to millimeters. For doing things like, straps, right? You want to see what's the width of a strap, just lay it on this little chart, and there you go. So I keep that inside of this. Let's turn it off, and voila. If you are looking for calipers, highly recommend. They've been good for me. Now, sneak peek time on upcoming full reviews. I'll start with the Grand Seiko because I did the unboxing for this, and I'm working on the review video for it that has all the wonderful, beautiful details of this watch. And yeah, this is the SBGW275, this new green series they came out with. It sold out basically within a day of all the variants. And I've got the teal collared one, it's a hint of green and blue. So this is a review coming up. Looking forward to that. I would have done it already because I did the unboxing like 3 weeks ago prior to this. I'm just waiting on some straps to arrive. I bought 3 custom straps for this watch, and I want to show you what this can look like and how good this can look. There's a strap that came with it, okay, it's sort of this midnight blue with this a little bit lighter blue stitching, but this can look so much better. Not like the dial, the hands, everything about this watch is magnificent, but I think where GS has some work to do, this is true of their bracelet and a lot of the straps, is just get us to the next level of straps and it will take it to the next level. I bought some custom handmade ones and those are on their way. Another video I'm looking forward to doing is I've had this Christopher Ward Sealander C63 GMT in the pull. If you've watched any of my other videos in the recent months, you have seen me wearing this in the wrist checks and whatnot. One of my most favorite, most worn watches. This has taken over every other watch. It's just the perfect balance of, I don't know, everything. Love, love. I also bought the green. I could not resist. So I am going to go in depth on these 2 watches, why I think they're probably one of the best watches Christopher Ward has made and one of the best watch deals you can get when you're talking about quality Swiss-made watches. These, oh, they're just so cool. So this Christopher Ward C63 Sealander review video will be coming up, and just got this in today, wore it for the first time today for the full day. Talk about unique out there. I actually really like this. This is the Vario Navi Jumping Hours. They've got a few different views on this. There's a Popeye version, and by Popeye I mean what we all think of when we hear Popeye. And then there's this Navi. We got the jump hours with the Cyclops here at 12. And I've got a lot more to say about that, about the overall design. This is just it's a weird, quirky, unique looking watch. I don't recall seeing anything else like it on the market. And spoiler alert, I weirdly like it. This is a fun little cool watch. And I might have to talk to Ivan about working out some sort of deal where I can keep this thing, whether that's, I don't know what that deal will look like yet, but yeah, here's a slew of reviews, and I've also got the NASA G-Shock I got to get to at some point. There's so much coming up here on Watch Complications, and here's an initial look at some of those watches that I'm going to go in depth on. Hope you stick around, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any updates. Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed this quick take on the Silicone Bench Mat, my favorite set of calipers, and a first look at some of the watches for reviews that are coming up here at Watch Complications and on my website, watchcomplications.com, if you like pictures and text just as much as you like videos. Don't forget, if you want your chance at one of these Silicone Bench Mats for free, link is in the description below. Fill out the form questions and you'll be submitted for the drawing. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody, especially my subscribers. If you haven't subscribed, consider hitting that button, the bell if you want updates. Follow me on Instagram at watch_complications and check out my website, watchcomplications.com. Brian, I'm out.